Today, we're going to dive into a story that really gets to the heart of Zen Buddhism. It's a classic, a really powerful one, called The Monk Who Couldn't Find His Mind. You know that feeling, right? You're trying to meditate, or maybe you're just trying to get to sleep, and you tell yourself, okay, mind, just be quiet now. And what happens? Suddenly, it's like rush hour traffic up there. All these thoughts, worries, and random to-do lists. It seems like the more you fight it, the louder it all gets. Well, that exact frustration is the starting point for our story, which kicks off over 1,500 years ago. All right, let's get into the first part of our story, the unpacified mind. This is where we really dig into the root of the problem, that tangled up, frustrating feeling we all get when it feels like our own mind is working against us. Now, to untangle this knot, we first have to understand what it's even made of. The philosopher Alan Watts had a great term for this: conventional knowledge. Basically, it's the entire system of labels and ideas we all agree on to make sense of the world. We agree that a certain thing is a tree. We agree on what success means, what our identity is. It's all just a shared system of symbols we use to get by. And this right here, this shows you the fundamental problem. On one hand, you have the map, our ideas, our words, our concepts about life. And on the other hand, you have the territory, the direct, messy, flowing reality of this exact moment. We get into all sorts of trouble when we mistake the map for the territory. Think about it like this. What happens to a fist when you open your hand? It's gone, right? It was never a separate thing. It was just something the hand was doing. We treat our troubled mind like it's a fist, like it's a solid object we need to fix. But what if it's not a thing at all? That confusion, mistaking the idea for the real thing, that's the sickness. And our story, which is set way back in 6th century China, is about a man who was suffering from this sickness in a big way. He was a monk, a really sincere seeker, and he was absolutely desperate to find a cure. And here it is. This is his plea. This is the central question of our whole story. The seeker's name is Huiko, and he finds a master and just lays it all out there with this raw, honest request. He feels like his mind is a storm, this untamable thing. And he's begging for someone, anyone, to make it peaceful. So this brings us to Act 2. Now, Huiko didn't just go to any old teacher. He sought out this enigmatic, almost fierce-looking master who had traveled all the way from India to China. His name was Bodhidharma, and he's the guy credited with bringing Zen to a whole new country. But Bodhidharma's style? It was completely different. He wasn't about comforting sermons or complicated theories. His whole method was something called direct pointing. The goal wasn't to give you an answer you could just memorize. It was to provoke you, to push you into having a direct, personal experience of the truth for yourself. He wouldn't give you a map. He'd force you to actually look at the ground beneath your feet. And to give you a sense of just how wild and baffling this could be, check out this classic story. A student asks what seems like a deep question about escaping suffering. He calls it the heat. And the master's reply? It sounds like no reply at all. He just points to what's happening. He doesn't try to solve the puzzle. He actually deepens the mystery, trying to get the student to just drop the question and be in the moment. But here we get a little clue, a faint hint of the answer that Huiko is so desperately searching for. This poem suggests that the problem isn't the world itself. The problem is our mind's constant habit of dividing everything up, of picking and choosing. The sickness isn't the heat or the cold. It's the inner conflict we create by wanting one and hating the other. And all of this is building to the climax of our story. After a long, frustrating wait, maybe even years, Huiko has his final, desperate showdown with Bodhidharma. This is the moment of truth. He presents his problem again, but this time with all the weight of his failed attempts behind him. My mind is not at peace. It's like he's holding out this thing he calls his mind, and he's just begging the master to take it from him and fix it. Bodhidharma's response is the absolute turning point of the story. It's so simple, so direct, and it sounds completely impossible. He doesn't offer a technique. He just says, "All right, bring it here. Show me this mind of yours, and I'll take care of it." So Huiko does it. He turns his attention completely inward. He searches and searches for this thing, this entity called mind that's been torturing him. He's looking for the source of all his anxiety. And after a long, deep silence, he comes back with the most incredible discovery of his life. He can't find it. There's nothing there to grab onto. And boom,
Bodhidharma's punchline is just perfect. There, I have pacified your mind. In that one instant, Huiko got it. The problem he was trying to solve was an illusion all along. You can't fix something that doesn't exist as a separate thing. By failing to find his mind, he was suddenly completely free from it.
So what does a realization like that actually feel like? I mean, it's not just some intellectual aha moment. It's a complete shift in your whole experience of being alive. It's often described as feeling like you're walking about 2 inches off the ground.
This sudden awakening is called satori, and I absolutely love this description. It's not some supernatural vision. It's not about floating away to another dimension. It's this world, this ordinary life, but you experience it with this incredible sense of lightness and freedom, like you're floating just a couple inches off the ground.
And that feeling of lightness, it comes from seeing through a few huge illusions. You suddenly realize the self you thought you were is just an idea, not a solid thing. That feeling that you are a separate person looking out at the world, that just dissolves. Life stops feeling like a string of problems you have to solve. And you get it. There was never anything to hold on to. And the you who was trying so hard to do all the holding wasn't really there to begin with. But this isn't where the story ends. See, this awakening, it isn't a final destination. It's really the beginning of a totally new way of living in the world, something you could call the art of artlessness. This beautiful little poem just captures it perfectly. It's this idea of spontaneous, natural action. When you stop trying to force and control everything, things just happen, naturally and effortlessly. In the same way the grass just grows by itself. You don't have to make it happen. So this art of artlessness just means being all there, completely present with whatever you're doing. When you walk, your whole being is just walking. When you sit, you're just sitting. The wobble, that's the divided mind. That's the second thought, the part of you that stands back and judges and worries. The art is just to act with your whole being.
And that really brings us to the final, crucial understanding. The story of Huiko doesn't wrap up with a neat little answer that fixes everything forever. The whole point is that there is no final destination. A pacified mind isn't a trophy you get at the end. Zen is the path itself. It's just the way you walk, moment by moment by moment.
So if the lesson isn't about arriving somewhere, but just about walking on, then the question isn't about some ancient monk in China anymore. It's about you, right here, right now. All the stories, all the theories, they all fall away. There is only this moment. So where do you place your next step?